Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in this webinar about the new features in version 2023E. These new features, what we are going to talk about today about the new features within CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel. My colleague Afonso is there joining me. Well, he's gonna show you all the new features. He is the digital marketing director as well. Hi, Alfonso.
Hi, Marta. Good morning, good evening. Actually, I don't know in which part of the globe you are today. So yeah, maybe good evening, good morning.
Hi. And for those that don't know me, I'm Marta Franca, and I work in the International Sales Department. And if you have any questions, anything you want to tell us or whatever, you can send me an email in marta.franca@cype.com. And during this presentation, you can ask questions to the chat as well. So you can use the chat. We'll try to answer the questions. And if we cannot answer all of the questions for any reason, we'll send you the reply by email. And as I said, you can also send me an email if you have any queries. Today, we are going to talk about the new features. This is the list of the new features that we have. We have two new modules within these new features. One of them is the backlink analysis. And the other one, which is really important for us as well, is exporting in IFC EM.11 format. I'm going to show you where to find the programs we are going to show you today. You have to go to our platform, BIMserver.center. Here, you can see here the link. You have to register. You'll find here the button to register. Is free, so don't worry. And in here, you have many options. And today we are going to go to the structural analysis site. And here you will find all the programs we have for structural analysis and for the detailing, which is StruBIM Steel. So here you have the two programs we are going to talk about today. And if you go in either of them, you'll find this information where you can find the download button here. And also you can go to the application website here. Here you will find detailed information, learning resources, and frequently asked questions. And also, if you want to know more in detail, or if you want to read about what we are going to talk today, you should go to CYPE company profile, new features, and here you have the list of the new features in different versions. Today, we'll go to version 2023E, and you have to go to scroll down to StruBIM Steel and CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel. So we are going to talk about this today.
There are a lot of new features in this version. It's a big version. I think this one and the best one, maybe where we add the most important resources in both programs. StruBIM Steel, in this case, I think it's much more complete software after this new updates. So yeah, we have a lot of things to see today.
Yeah, and it's very interesting, everything. Very good. So I'm gonna pass you the control, Afonso. I'm gonna switch off my camera just so everybody can see the whole screen with everything you want to show. And as I said, if you have any questions, please use the chat in this in the GoToWebinar chat.
Perfect. Marta, I would like to ask you if you can share those links in our chat. That could be useful to our assistants. They can have these links easily. And I would like to show you, to tell you that today we are transmitting this seminar through GoToWebinar, but we are also recording this presentation. So tomorrow morning, we'll have the recording available in our YouTube channel and also in our webinar gallery that is available in our website. Okay, so if you miss or you have any doubt about doing the presentation, or you want to come back a little bit and watch again, you have this resource available in our platforms. Okay.
Second.
Marta, thank you very much for this introduction. Let's change the computers here. I'll change to my screen, and I will also deactivate my camera, because then we have more space to show the information. And let's begin with the new features. All right. So I think you can see my screen from now on. So yeah, let's start with the new features. Yeah, we will talk about two different programs, as we have been saying before, CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel. Okay, so we have some features that are common for both of softwares. In my screen now, you can see the StruBIM Steel interface. So yeah, we have this model here. It's this colored model, this little star here. It's not complete yet, but it's gonna be enough to show the new features. So if you see these elements with colors, we are talking about StruBIM Steel, okay? But during the presentation, we'll be alternating between StruBIM Steel and CYPE Connect. And CYPE Connect, we will have this model here with some wooden bars, just to show a little bit the difference between one software and another. And it's going to be easier if we have different models to be easier to understand. Okay, so colored bars, we are here in StruBIM Steel, and wooden bars with some steel elements too, we are in CYPE Connect. Okay, to start, I think one of the new features that we have here that is very useful is the new system, the new Windows system. So from now on, you can grab one of these panels that we have here. We have one guy here, another guy here, we have another guy here, we have this big guy here, and you can grab these elements and change the position of these guides. So we can grab one window and select a new place to this window or to this panel and change the position of the work area of our software, the interface of our software, and look for the best position to these elements. We can create tabs like this to then alternate between different panels. So just grabbing the windows and selecting another position in the interface, then you can personalize your interface. Okay, you can always change the size of these windows too, look into the best combination that is perfect for your way of work. Okay, something that could be very interesting here is that you can grab one of these windows and send it to another screen if you have another screen. So if you are working with two or more monitors, you can send part of the information that you have in your screen to a second monitor, or you can even leave the part of the windows floating like this. Okay, so if you do something like that, you can send it to another window if you have a second monitor. I showed here in the StruBIM Steel interface, but this is a common feature that was introduced in 18 different softwares in the 2023 E version. So 18 different softwares from CYPE architecture to StruBIM Steel. Then also in some MEP softwares, we introduced this new feature, and we will keep introducing this new feature in more and more softwares during the next releases. Just showing the same situation here in CYPE Connect. At CYPE Connect, you can grab, it's the same situation. You just have all our panels here, okay? And you can just grab these elements and look for the best position to work, okay? If you wanna come back to the default values or the default position of these windows, you have this option here. The option window, this little button that is new near the globe icon that was another configuration button that we have in the software. So here you have this option here, and you can reset the window layout. Okay, so you can restore the position to the default position. here in the StruBIM Steel, that was the default position, and here at CYPE Connect, it's going to be similar. Let's go back to the default position. Okay, so this is the first new feature that we have today. Just looking here in my list of new features, we have 9 different features that I would like to share with you today. 9, I think they were the best features that were implemented in this version. Probably we have others that are little new features, but the main ones we have in this list, that's going to be a list of 9 elements. Okay, so the first one, it was this, the new Windows system of CYPE 2023 E version. Okay, if this new feature was common to CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel, let me show you a new feature that is specific for StruBIM Steel. In this case, it's related to the models that we can create here. From now on, you can export the models, this detailed model of the structure with all the elements that are created here. You can see the level of details of this model. It's very high. You can add all the elements, the plates, the bolts, the welds, the sections of everything here. Then you can also create, you can number these elements, you can generate different type of sheets, you can create groups of elements, and then you can export this information to different formats. Okay, in this little button here, you can export the information to DSTV format and also step format. So these formats, they were implemented in some of the previous versions, so they are not new actually in this version. You can still export this information to manufacturer systems to then construct this elements here. Okay, the new feature in this case is this one here. You can export the structure in the IFC format, but in this case it's a special one. It's a special IFC format. It's called EM.11. Okay, the exchange mode 11. It's a specific IFC format to the steel structures industry, where you can add more information related to the manufacture of these elements here. Okay, so if you take a look on the American Institute of Steel Structures webpage, you can find this information here that is explaining what is the IFC format. That's actually very common to us because we have been talking about IFCs since, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. But in this case, we have this special format, the exchange mode 11 IFC. Okay, so here you can look for more information to understand a little bit the difference between the IFC and the IFC EM.11. But it's actually a special format to steel structures. Okay, I'll link this. I'll send this link for you here in the chat. I'll leave this link so then you can take a little bit more information and read a little bit more about this format. But let's export this little guy here for IFC and see what kind of information we have when we export it. Okay, so I'll use this button here, export in IFC. So some of the elements that we have here in the model, they are not numbered yet, so let's number it. It's going to be something very fast. Just number the parts that are remaining, and then let's export the IFC from StruBIM Steel in this case. CYPE Connect don't support this kind of IFCs. It's a special feature for StruBIM Steel. So let me create here a little, yeah, I will just save it on my desktop. It's going to be very fast, less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds or something like that, to export this IFC with all those details. Okay, so now exporting the bolts, the welds, the anchors, And that's it. The export was finished. So let's open the file somewhere here. I have an IFC viewer in my computer. It's called BIMvision. You can also download this viewer at the BIMserver.center platform. It's not developed by CYPE, but it's integrated in the OpenBIM workflow. So yeah, here you can view IFCs, and you can see that the details there are all here. All the information that was developed, introduced using StruBIM Steel in this case, it's here. If we click in some of these models, for example, in this section here, we can see the properties related to this section. So here we have some properties related to the identity of this section. So the description, the ID, the entity, also the name, the object type. Then we have here some data related to the geometry of this profile. And then you can see here some parameter sets, some presets related to the American Institute of Steel Construction. So here we have some data related to the material, okay? Then we have here some data related to the piece identification, okay? And here we have more presets like this one, for example, related to the quantity. And also here, if we open the column-based quantities, you can see here the cross-section area, the length, the net volume, the net weight. So with this information, you can have an idea about the quantities of your project, okay? So you can see here that this IFC is very complete with a lot of parameters that are specific for this kind of elements. They are not standard parameters. Actually, they are standard because they now are standard with this EM.11 format, but they are not part of a normal IFC file, okay? You can see that the same situation is going to be here if we click in a bolt, for example. Actually, here it's bolts and all the elements here, the nuts and the washers. So actually, we have here something similar, some parameters to describe the element here, and then here some related to the bolts, okay, here, and then here some parameters related to the nuts here and to the washer, okay. And the same situation is going to be to the welds, for example, with the size, the type, the name of these elements, okay. So this format, it's very complete, and this is maybe one of the main features that we implemented at StruBIM Steel in this version, okay. To export the IFC format from StruBIM Steel using this option here, you must have a new module, okay. It's a new module that you can buy it separately. So if you don't have this module, you can work normally with StruBIM Steel, but when you export, you cannot export to the IFC EM.11, okay. So to export, do the same procedure that we made now. You must have this module that you can contact to Marta, and Marta can tell you the details to activate this module in your license, okay. If you are working in an OpenBIM workflow with more people, you can also export these IFCs from this button here, okay. So clicking here on the share button, you also can activate the option to export the IFC EM.11 file, okay. So it's actually the same file. The only difference is that from here you are exporting the file locally, and from here you are sending a copy of the files that you select here to the cloud, to your folder at BIMserver.center. And then if you have more people working with you in the same workflow, you can share this information with more people and then keep working as a team, okay. So actually it's the same situation, but one it's through the cloud and the other one it's locally, okay. So that's nice. I think it's one of the best features, as I said before. But let's keep going. So that was the second feature to present today. And let's start talking about some features that are common to StruBIM Steel and also to CYPE Connect. Okay, we will start talking about some new operations that we introduced to model the connections of these structures. Okay, to enter in the menus to define the new operations. Let me show you before how you can enter in this option to model your connections in both softwares. Okay, so if you are here in StruBIM Steel to model one of these connections, you just have to use these options that are here. Okay, if you select, for example, this button here, you can click in two or more bars, two or more elements, and create a new connection. And then you open this interface here that is to model, analyze, and create the sheets of one specific connection. Okay, if you already have one connection, you see this pyramid symbol here. Okay, and with using this pyramid symbol here, you can then use the edit option. Okay, I will open another one here that is a little bit more complex, this guy here, and then you open the same menu that I was talking before. Okay, and it's going to be here that you define a list of operations here to model your connection, model and then analyze, and also draw and create all the documents of this connection. If you are talking about CYPE Connect, let's jump here back to CYPE Connect. It's going to be very similar. You have here two options, because here you already have a list of nodes. In this case, they were generated. You can import the structure from CYPE 3D or CYPE CAD. Here you cannot model the structure. You can just model the connections, but you can import the structures here. And here we have the same situation. We can select one of the connections here in the list, or also here in the model, and then edit this information. Okay, so I think it was too fast. Let's do it again. So you select the node you want to edit or add or module the connection, and use this little button here that is to edit the connection applied to a node. Okay, then you also open the same interface. Okay, model, analyze, and sheets. So in this part, both softwares that are quite similar, they have the same options here to create the operations, the same options to edit the libraries, and then the same situation here on the analysis tab and the sheets tab. Both of them will use the OpenSys to analyze the connection. So knowing that they are quite similar at this point, I will use StruBIM Steel to show the new features, but we can assume that they are the same new features for both software. All right, so the new operation that we have here, a new feature that is a new operation, it's the option to modify corners. Okay, so this little button here, it's new. It's quite useful to change the corners in plates. Okay, it was in the previous version, it was possible to, for example, define a plate with a specific geometry. Let's suppose we want to add an arc here, for example, to create a kind of soft edge in this plate. It was possible, okay, to create this plate with a specific geometry before. You need to add operation adding a plate and selecting a polygonal plate, and then defining different points here to create the polygon with the geometry that you need. Okay, it's possible, but it was not that easy. Okay, from now on, you can, for example, just select the normal rectangular standard plate here, and then you can apply some a new operation to modify the corners of the plate that you introduced before. So let's do that. So I will add one new operation, modify corners. You can see here in my list of operations that I have a new one here, the plate dash corners 1. Okay, I will modify the corners in this case of the plate. The only plate that we have here is the plate 1. Okay, and if you see here, when we select the plate, we can see that for each one of the corners of these rectangular plates, now we have a number identifying the corners of this this plate. Why we have it? Why we have these numbers? Because now we can add the changes here. So for example, in the corner one, okay, I can add some new parameters or change the geometry of this corner. Actually, I can change the corner I want to select. Let's suppose I want to select the corner 2. I change the number here. It's gonna be the corner 2, and then I can select from different types of types here. The bevel, for example, that is the case here. Okay, you can see now the bevel was created here. I can change the geometry of the dimension 1 or dimension 2 of this bevel. For example, they are now here 25 millimeters each. Let's suppose one of them I would introduce 40 millimeters. So I have this kind of triangle here. We have something similar with the chamfer. In this case, the chamfer, both dimensions are the same, so 25 millimeters. Let's suppose they are 50, for example. 50 is too big here, okay? Or we can create a notch, for example, this kind of notch here. Of course, this is not the best combination here, but let's change a little bit. For example, let's put here 20 millimeters, a little bit better. And let's change also the dimension 2 to 35 millimeters and the radius to, I don't know, 5 millimeters. 5 is too small, 8 millimeters, something like that, okay? So you can add this kind of notches here. We can also create round corners like this, changing the radius, for example, 45 or maybe here 20, okay, to create this radius, to soft the edges. And we can also create the arcs like this. So something like this, for example, it's going to be a little bit easier to understand, okay? Of course, here we have been editing just the corner number 2, but let's suppose here we have a chamfer, for example. Let's put a 20 millimeters chamfer here, and in the edge 3 we'd like to do the same. So then we can duplicate here the action and change the number. For example, it was 3 and 2. So yeah, oh sorry, here I have both of them 2 and 2. Let's use one, it's going to be 2, another one, it's going to be the corner number 3. Okay, so then we have that kind of geometry. Okay, very easy to introduce these operations here, to modify the corners with this new button that was introduced here. But you must first have a plate, and then you have to modify a plate. So if you have, for example, this situation, the operation to create a plate after the operation to modify a plate, of course, you have a lot of problems here, a lot of errors indicating that was impossible. So the order of this list is very important, okay? So first you must create a plate and then modify the corners of the plate, okay? And considering that, one thing that is very nice here is that you can add these chamfers here, for example, but when you do that, you are actually creating new corners to this plate. Now it's not a rectangular plate, it's a kind of polygonal plate with more corners, more edges than was originally. So now you can add another modified corner operation here. So creating a second one that's going to be the plate corners 2. And now if I select the same plate, you see that the numbers here increase it. So we have now 6 different corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can add new changes to each one of these corners that were created now with the previous operation. So let's suppose now I would like to add a specific change just to the corner 2, that is a new one. So I just add here corner 2, and let's add here a chamfer, for example, and then I have this kind of situation. Of course, it's an hypothetical situation. This is not the best combination for this plate, but it's just to show how it works, okay? But remember, you can combine this operation editing the corners that were generated with the same operation before. Okay, so you must just pay attention on the logic, the order of the operations that you have here. Okay, so this is one of the new features. This is the third new feature that we have been talking, the new operation to modify corners that is available here in the connection menu in both in StruBIM Steel and also at CYPE Connect. Okay, if we are talking about operations, let me show you another feature that is related to operation. I will come back here. It's related to the base plates, okay? Actually related to the anchors of the base plates. Here you can see two types of base plates. I have been creating this one before. That's probably a mechanical anchor here. And I have this one here. So different types of anchors. Let me open this guy here. Let's edit this guy here because here it's a very simple connection, very simple base plate. You can see that it's just a plate with some adjustments and then the anchorage. And the new feature here is that we implemented some post-installed anchors. Actually, in the previous versions, the casting anchors were introduced since the beginning of this module of anchors here at CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel. In 2023D version, we introduced the post-installed anchors. They were just the chemical anchors. It was this option here. But now we introduced more types of anchors that are post-installed of the post-installed type. Okay, so these three options here, they're all mechanical anchors. Okay, they are all from the brand SPIT. Okay, so here you can select the different anchors from this brand, and the software will add the parameters of each one of these models that are in this database, this list of anchors in the parameters of the anchor. So you cannot change because they are standard. They are part of the catalog of SPIT. Okay. So here we have this kind, and this kind. They are new. Okay. There are three different lists from the SPIT catalog that you can use to model and then analyze the base plate or the anchors that you usually will introduce in a base plate to your project. Okay, so this is the fourth new feature. It's also a new element in our operation that was here before. So the anchors operation now have also post-installed anchors, mechanical post-installed anchors from SPIT. Okay. All right, so we saw the new Windows systems, we saw the new model to export in IFC EM.11, we saw the new operation to modify corners, we also saw the new anchors, the new mechanical anchors, post-installed mechanical anchors from SPIT. Okay, we have new features related to operations, more new features. Let me see here. I have been working here creating a second little example somewhere here, this little model here, just to show one option that is it's just one selection that can change a lot the way we introduce new bars in a connection. So in this case here, let me open the connection. You see that to create this model, actually the aim of this model was to have a little bar, this little bar here, welded to the main bar. Okay, you can see the welds here, and then have these plates here. There are two plates here connected by bolts that would be used to this first plate should be welded to the bar 1, the second to the V2 bar, and then to assemble this on the field, it would be much easier because just this part would be welded initially to the element. Okay, so to create this kind of situation, it was necessary to add a new element. Okay, so you can see that this bar 1 here was introduced as one of the operations, operation to introduce a bar. Okay, so if I deactivate it, you can see. So this bar was introduced here with this option bar 1. Okay, this option to create the bar, and then the name was automatically bar 1. Okay, the new feature that we have here is the way that we introduce new bars in the connection, or complementary bars if it's necessary in a connection. It's, let me open here, it's this option here. So when we add a new bar, okay, using this option, we can select the position according to this new option here. Could be just a connection bar when that we need to set all the parameters related to the position of this bar. Okay, you can see that if I use this option, the bar is here in the origin of the system. So I can set the X, Y, and Z, and also some angles to locate the bar in the right position. But with this new feature that is using this option here in the direction of a bar, I can select another bar. In this case, I select the V2 bar to introduce the bar 1. So I can select the position, the same position of a bar that was previously introduced in the model. So it's going to be much easier to put these new bars in our model. Okay, so it's a very simple option here. Maybe it's a little bit hiding here, but it's very, very useful, especially if you are working with bars that are not in the same plane, that have different angles. This is going to be a very useful feature to you. Okay, so this is the new way to entry bars in the same position of other bars that you have in your model. Okay, if we are talking about sections, about bars, we have a new feature related to the sections that we have available in the library of the program. Okay, so let me show this new feature in both programs, CYPE Connect and also StruBIM Steel. Starting here in StruBIM, we have here in the options of the libraries here, the elements and materials. Here you can introduce new types of rolled sections. So these four first elements types were here before, but this guy here, the plate and the T section, they were introduced now in the version 2023E. Okay, so you can introduce you can now introduce T sections and also plate sections. You always have here some libraries from different manufacturers, from different codes that you can download. For example, just selecting the series here and then opening all the information here. Okay, so it's for this, and here we have also the same situation. I don't know, this guy here, you just select the library you want to import, and then you have the series with all the sections that is available for that series. Okay, then you can use it in your project. So from now on, it's available, the T section and the plate section to StruBIM Steel and also CYPE Connect. In CYPE Connect, to introduce the sections is quite similar. Let's jump to CYPE Connect. Here you have this option here, libraries, and you also have here the elements. So you can see the same elements here, the T section and also the plate section. Exactly, it's the same logic that we saw at StruBIM Steel. Okay, coming back here to StruBIM Steel, and now we know that it's possible to add a plate, for example, a plate bar. Let's introduce some plate bars here and show the next feature that was implemented. To do that, I will use this button here to introduce a new section, and I will select here a
plate section, for example. I will select a material, one, and then one of the sections, for example, let's get one of the big ones here, for example, I know this little guy here, 35 per 4, okay? And then I'll just add in somewhere here just to show you how easy it is to introduce something here at StruBIM Steel. Here I have a plate, okay? And then I'll add another one from this point. I will create here a very simple node just to show one new operation that was introduced. So here actually we have two elements, okay? This guy, it's one bar, and this is another bar. So here actually we have a node. Let's suppose we wanna weld both nodes, okay? So to do that, we must add a specific type of weld. So first, let's create here a connection, okay, selecting both of them, and open the editor, the connections editor. Here you see that we have V2 and V1, okay? And actually here we have a very simple node, a very simple connection, okay, with no operations by default, okay? To weld it, we must add, for example, in this case, a weld operation in our list of operations. So let's do it, and then let's select the elements we wanna weld. So I will weld the section V1 to the section, could be a plate, could be any other element. So I will select the V1 to the V2, okay? And now let me see where is they are here. As you can see, we cannot see the weld. Why we cannot see the weld? Because we are, by default, the fillet weld is selected. But in this case, it's impossible to add a fillet weld because we don't have an angle between the sections here. So here, it is the new feature that we implemented. Now you have the butt weld here, okay? Then you can select, you can weld this kind of plates in this position, okay? Here you can change the parameters. For example, the position of the weld could be in one face, in the other face, or like this in the center. You can also change the size and apply, for example, some displacements here in the initial and final part of the weld, okay? And the 3D representation of that kind of welds is this cylinder here, okay? So this is one new type of weld that was introduced in the weld operation here. Where's the weld operation? So here, the weld operations and the connection editor of CYPE Connect and also StruBIM Steel, okay? So from now on, you can weld this kind of elements, okay? Nice. So yeah, I think new features related to new operations. We saw everything. So yeah, modify corners, new anchors, new way to entry bars in the same position than other bars. We also saw the new type of welds. Yeah, that's cool. So related to the model of the connections, I think those were the main features that were introduced in the version 2023 E, okay? So let's jump a little bit to the analysis of the elements. Let me delete these guys here because it was just an example. And we must remember that this model here was introduced with all the details that we have here. You can see that is a very complete model with all the bolts and all the information here, okay? But for each one of these pyramids here, these purple triangles here, actually we have one specific situation that could be analyzed, where the forces and the load cases are acting, and we must analyze it, okay? So, for example, this guy here, if I open it, of course, I can develop the operations introducing the elements here, but then one of the objectives of this model is analyze this situation here, okay? So let's jump from the model to the analysis tab, and let's see one of the new features that were implemented in this release, okay? Here we have some little changes in the main bar here in the top of the window, and also you see some new a new layout here in this right part of the screen. Okay, the first thing that we have here, it's that now we have 3 buttons here. So we have the stress strain analysis button, the rotational stiffness button, and also the buckling analysis button. Okay, actually this button, it was the same, it's the same thing that we have since the beginning of the software. It's the button to analyze and then have the results related to the stress and the displacement of the building, the connection. Okay, so the von Mises stress, for example, in this case here, we can see for each one of the load cases. In this case, I just have one. We can also, as you know, change the scale of these results here. Also, the maximum demand capacity radio, showing this scale here related to the security of these elements that we have here. You can see that the P2 bar, it's a little bit more, how can I say, demanded than the other bars, for example. We can also see here, for example, the displacements for this load case here. Okay, this is something that was already here. Of course, this is quite nice. It's easy to understand what is happening here to these load cases, but one of the main features of the software is the errors that we can see here, because when we start working with StruBIM Steel or CYPE Connect, we can select one of the different codes that are in the software, and then we can see what is happening here. And if we see, the software is telling us that some of the checks are not verified. Okay, some of the checks according to a specific code. Checking this button here, we can only show the failed checks, and here we can see that some of the parameters that are analyzed according to the code that we selected, they are not checked, and then we should change the model to find a way to check these parameters. Okay. Until this point, there is nothing new. I know it's the same situation that we had until the past version. Okay, the new feature, it's related to this option here, because we can click on the buckling analysis and then we can see the results of the buckling analysis. So this is a new kind of analysis that was implemented here at CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel. Okay, the buckling analysis. Here it's very nice to see the results here. For each load case that we create or we import from CYPE 3D or CYPE CAD, for example, for each load case, we can add different buckling modes. Actually, we can set the number of buckling modes that the software will analyze. Okay, by default, the software will introduce 5 different buckling modes. I will show you how to change it for each load case. Okay, and then we will have 5 different critical load factors for each one of these buckling modes. Okay, so the first scenario that we have here, it's the buckling mode 1. We'll have these results here, the buckling mode 2, then the buckling mode 3, the buckling mode 4. You can see they are very different, and the buckling mode 5. Okay, 5 different scenarios related to the buckling of this connection, this local stability or of these profiles. Okay, so with this value here, we can have an idea about when we'll have this buckling situation or this buckling result. It means, for example, in this case here, 14.57, this is the critical load factor. It means that if we had a load that is 14 times bigger than the load that was introduced here, that was analyzed here, we will had a buckling situation here. Okay, so for this buckling mode, we will had a critical situation here with if we had a 14 times the load that was introduced in the model. Okay, so it's one way to analyze this these results here. Okay, in this case we are not checking according to any code. It's just a result that you can analyze by yourself. You can combine this analysis to try to have the most safe connection possible. Okay, but it's very visual, and you have these results that are very interesting. Okay, of course you can change it. You can set in the design parameters options, in design options, you can set some things that are related to the buckling analysis. For example, if I open here, we can change the number of buckling modes. Okay, so changing that, I will have more buckling modes. Of course, the time to calculate it is going to be a little bit bigger, but you then have more results. And remember, it's the number of buckling modes for each load case. Okay, if you don't remember how you can set one or more load cases, we can create or import load cases here. You can create a list of load cases here, and then define the number of steps, the number of interactions of each load case. Okay, so the list could be a little bit bigger according to the number of load cases and the number of buckling modes that you have. Okay, another thing that we can set here, it's related to the loads that are how would I say, the loads that we use to analyze the stress strain analysis, the rotational stiffness, and the buckling. Here in the loads menu, you can see that we have the different bars that we have in this connection, and we can set for each bar if we have which is the bearing element, and also if we analyze the rotational stiffness or not for each one of the bars. Then we can set for each one of the load cases. Let's imagine that we had LC2, LC3, different load cases. We can set the different forces that are acting in this bar. Okay, we have the same situation here for stress strain and buckling, or different information to the rotational stiffness. If we want, we can set this data here. Okay, if you'd like to also add different data specific to analyze the buckling situation, you can personalize it. You can come back here to the design options and change, uncheck this option here. Perform the instability analysis with the same loads as the stress strain analysis. If we deactivate that and accept, and come back here to the loads menu, you see that now we have 3 tabs. So the buckling that was together here with the stress strain analysis, so the loads now are separated. So with this kind of data introduction, you can personalize the analysis and then try to look for a special situation, analyzing separately the loads that are causing the buckling or the stress or the rotational stiffness. Okay, so you have both situations here, both options. You can use the same loads to analyze the stress strain and buckling, or add different loads for each kind of analysis. Okay. Once we have the analysis, the analysis is finished here. Of course, with a connection that is checked with all the elements in the green state here with no problems, you can export the checks here. Okay, so the checks actually here we have a summary, and you can also select the buckling here. Okay, you have here the list of the critical factors and export in PDF format, and also all the other elements, other results that were analyzed in the options that you selected. Okay, so that's a new module. It's like the the module that I said before to export to IFC EM.11. You can buy it separately and then have this kind of analysis in your CYPE Connect or your StruBIM Steel. Okay. Again, if you want to know how to activate that on your license, you can contact Marta. Marta can show you how to do that. Okay. Yeah, here we have, let me see, I think we saw the main new features that were introduced in the 2023 E version. But let me show you here some, just to take a look on the some information related to the workflows that we can do with this new version. I just come back here to the CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel pages. Actually, I'm not here in the CYPE Connect. Let me open here the real one. Yeah, let me open both of them in two windows, just to show how you can integrate both softwares in your workflow. We have here two different situations, and I think it's important just to review a little bit how it works. Okay. So in the first situation, we have CYPE Connect. Okay, CYPE Connect can be used integrated with CYPE 3D. You can upload IFCs from other softwares and then design the connections, analyze and design the connections of a structure that was imported from those applications. Okay, so this is a workflow that you can use. So you can get your CYPE 3D model, for example, export to CYPE Connect, and then analyze the connections. Okay, so in this situation, here in CYPE Connect, you can see the interface that you can select the nodes and then model the connections and then analyze it. But you cannot add more bars or add here other elements. You cannot model the structure itself here. Just analyze the nodes and provide a solution for each node. Okay, of course, here you can select the code, you can import the forces, the load cases from this CYPE 3D or CYPE CAD model, but here you cannot detail the structure, just the connections. Okay. In the other hand, here in CYPE Connect, let's come back here to the pages of the projects. You see a similar workflow here. So you can also import the information from CYPE CAD, CYPE 3D, different FCs to StruBIM Steel in this case. And here in StruBIM Steel, actually you can do everything that you can do in the CYPE Connect workflow, because actually CYPE Connect is integrated also inside of StruBIM Steel. Okay, so if you have in your license the codes of CYPE Connect, you can also open CYPE Connect through StruBIM Steel and use CYPE Connect to model the connections as we have been doing before, analyzing the connections, and then you can keep going and add more and more details to your model, because you have here in StruBIM Steel more options related to the numbering of the elements, creating groups, exporting this information to the formats that we have been looking before, adding tags to the project. So here you have a software to create a detailed model of the structure that you can combine and also calculate, because the CYPE Connect is also integrated here in the StruBIM Steel. Okay. One thing that is very nice is that here inside of the editors, we have these options here to save the job that we have here in libraries, importing and exporting the connections to a local connection library. Here in StruBIM Steel, we have this option, but here in CYPE Connect, we also have this same situation. Let me show you here. We have the same buttons here in this CYPE Connect option. And it's nice because if you have some jobs created here in CYPE Connect from previous versions, you can export those connections to a folder in your computer and then import it in the library of StruBIM Steel. And in both directions, you can also model something here and then send to CYPE Connect. in my opinion, if you are just analyzing the connections, you can use CYPE Connect and it's going to be a very nice result. But if you are creating a detailed model of your project and also analyzing the connections, you can jump directly from CYPE CAD or CYPE 3D to StruBIM Steel, because CYPE Connect is going to be also inside of StruBIM Steel, and you have all the features that you can have in CYPE Connect itself. Okay. The only thing that you cannot do here in StruBIM Steel that you can do at CYPE Connect is to work with wooden elements. Okay, wooden elements are something specific that we have here in CYPE Connect. Also, the name of the software is StruBIM Steel, so it's not StruBIM Steel and wood. But if you are working with steel elements, you can jump directly from CYPE 3D, CYPE CAD to StruBIM Steel, and then model your connections directly here. Okay. Yep. I think that was enough for today. A lot of new features. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you try the software. You can download it from BIMserver.center, as Marta was saying before. And I think we can finish this part here. Okay. Thank you very much, Marta. I think we can just conclude the presentation.
Well, thank you very much, Afonso. It's been a really nice presentation, very interesting, everything. I hope the people that join us today find it interesting as well. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for joining us today, and just reminding them where to send me the questions at marta.franca@cype.com. And I don't know if you want to add anything, but it's been great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marta. See you in next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.